Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I'm now going to quickly review Geelong Cats versus Port Adelaide at the Metricon Stadium. This is round 12, 2020 in the AFL. First quarter then, it finished 15 to the solitary single behind from Port. 15-1 at quarter time. I'm just going to rattle through the scores and then talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to blind you with stats. Half time 27-12 to Geelong. 3/4 time 49-25 Geelong. And the final score then was 91-31, 60-point margin of a victory for Geelong. Right, two things happened here. Geelong were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There isn't really anybody that had a poor game. Their whole team from back to front was immense. They were up for the challenge, they were inspired. They played clean, crisp, deliberate footy, lifted up their chins, picked out a pass, and they made the pass count, taking marks all over the footy field. They were bigger, stronger, more fired up. They had the hunger, the passion, everything today, and it was the polar opposite with Port. Some big names to mention right now for Port. I don't want to run down Port too much because they've had a phenomenal season, been one of my most favourite teams to watch. And I do try and focus on more the positive side, which was Geelong. However, what we will say quickly about Port was Travis Boak, Robbie Gray, Charlie Dixon, Motlop, Amon, so many players that have been playing well were absolutely shocking by their own standards they've set in 2020. Really ineffective. Defensively, Port, wow. That's the worst I've seen them all year. Shocking. Completely bullied. Schooled, actually. Do you know what? And I actually felt in the fourth quarter, and I don't like to say this about anyone, I thought when I watched it, they actually gave up. They gave up, they didn't want to be there, they were beat mentally, and they gave up. Their body language, their attitude on the footy field, the Port defence, was abysmal actually, and they do deserve all the criticism they'll get from that final quarter. But what I will say is they're still sitting top of the ladder. They've had a fantastic season so far in 2020. I know they'll stay strong, but this is maybe the wake-up call Port Adelaide as a football team needed. Their fans have been down this road before. They've had experienced all these false dawns before and then been brought back down to the ground with a bump. So they'll probably understand what's happening here and hope that this isn't a bump back down to ground, and it's just a little setback in what could be a very, very good year for Port in 2020. My main player I would say for Port Adelaide that played well was Powell Pepper. He's a player I love. You always see that bald head just cutting about, but what you get with him is just relentless energy and running. He tackles everything that moves. He should have been on the winning side from the performance he put in. Don't let stats blind you in this footy game. Travis Boak got 24 disposals or something. Not a bad return, but he was poor by his standards. The standards that Port set, that's not good enough. Robbie Gray's kicking was shocking. Now on to Geelong. Okay, Geelong. It's got to be the tomahawk. That's got to be the main story of today, hasn't it? If he doesn't get all the Brownlow votes, there's something seriously wrong with the footy world. 6 goals so in the bag today for Tom Hawkins. Bearing in mind these are reduced quarters, phenomenal goal return, but more than that, score involvements, I'm not too sure if it was about 9, he had a few assists in there as well, I'm nearly sure off the top of my head, but he was a giant up top, and I mean a giant. As I said near the start of this video, the Port Adelaide defence were bullied, and this guy was the reason why. He was a huge unit. Unlike Charlie Dixon, who's another fantastic forward this year so far, he never did anything today. I don't know if he took one mark in the forward 50 at all today. But as I said, polar opposite with Tom Hawkins. He's the tomahawk. He's managed so many. He was just big and strong. He got there. But what I liked about the way Geelong were playing, they were kicking it to the space, not to the man. And their forward players were attacking the ball, not waiting on the ball coming to them. I love that. They were all in sync. The whole thing today was just an absolute schooling. Do you know what? On their day, Geelong are without doubt one of the best teams in the competition. They're awash with talent and experience, and the leaders stepped up. The leaders that they had available to them anyway. Selwood was good, but Pat Patrick Dangerfield, wow, he's rolling back the years with that performance today. He was tackling, he was passing, he was just doing everything right. Incredible. I like Grant Myers, I like Rowan. Defensively they were strong as hell, but everything they did was controlled, deliberate. They slowed the game down, but ultimately sped it up at their pace and at the way they wanted to dictate the game. And they were just, I've got to be honest with you, a joy to watch. 91-31 I think it finishes in them. Like 60-point margin, that's not going to do Port's percentages very good, bearing in mind some of the teams around them have got games that you would think they're likely to win, get the percentages up. But both teams, very, very good value in 2020 so far. I think Geelong are stepping it up a gear now. I think there's talk of Gary Ablett coming back very, very soon. Of course, he'll have to probably quarantine for a couple of weeks. I think that's the case anyway, and you know what, it's all just clicking into place now for Geelong. And as I said, I don't think that this will massively hurt Port, but I think the way they played today, there was zero intensity. They looked like they gave up, actually, which is the biggest insult I can give them. They never gave up in the first half. Third quarter, possibly that was going that way. The fourth quarter, they gave up. Defensively, I'm not going to call out individual names, but if you watch that game back, you can see guys putting their head down, shaking their heads, all this negative body language, and that was down to the fact that what Geelong were doing was far in the way of the more superior footy team today, and they just mentally broke Port today in that fourth quarter. It was a joy to watch, actually, in a footy, a neutral, foreign neutral, watching a game of footy, and actually I backed Port for the win here. It was fantastic to see one team just be so in control from start to finish, really. Although, having said that, it was quite a low scoring game, even into about the third quarter it was low scoring until Geelong just took out and wiped the floor with them, really. I think again we're looking at Port's kicking in front of goal hasn't been the best at times in this last couple of weeks. But as I've said, both teams I would imagine are going to be playing finals footy this year. They're just great value. Really good game to watch, actually, really good game to watch, and it did surprise me the way the game panned out. I thought that it was going to be a win for Port. It'd probably be a tight game, but Port would have enough in them to go and win it. I think that energy from Rosie, don't ever make the mistake of falling into the illusion that Rosie isn't huge for them. Xavier Duursma, these young lads aren't huge for the way Port played. Duursma, of course, was playing, but Rosie wasn't playing. I think Butters was on his game. I also like Amon, the big guy. Is it Marshall up top as well? He's been missing. He has been something that's not just Charlie Dixon being your main focal point. He's another guy that you can hump the ball up to and he'll make it stick. And they've just kind of missed that today, really. I think Charlie Dixon had it tight, a really difficult game against what was a very well drilled and organised Geelong defence. As I said at the very, very start of the video, Geelong from back to front, there wasn't a bad individual performance, but as a unit they were sublime today. Well done Geelong Cats, absolutely deserved the win, and it has blew the top of the table wide open again. I'm thoroughly enjoying the footy in 2020. I hope you all are as well. Lots of games to come tomorrow and of course Sunday, and of course the AFL has just announced as well the next footy frenzy. I think 4 rounds 14, 15, 16 maybe, not too sure off the top of my head. I never went through all the fixtures just yet, but it's another footy frenzy. That means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so forth. So we're just going to be playing back-to-back games. We're just going to be playing back-to-back days of games for the foreseeable future, which is pretty relentless for footy fans. It can make it difficult for the spectators, the fans of the sport, to view most of the footy. It's difficult for me to review them as well because they're getting played at times where I'll be at work over here in the UK. But do you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. We've got footy, it's got good level, it's getting played competitively, albeit I did say Port weren't very competitive in the, but Geelong were. So as I'm saying, it's a very, very competitive year so far. Teams that nobody really expected to do well are doing well, which makes it fantastic for the neutral. Even if your team that you support is not doing well, it's good to see smaller teams that maybe you would never have expected to put the push on at the, you know, at the top of the ladder there. It's quite enjoyable to see things like that happening. I love a good underdog story. I've said it time and time again. And there's a few teams in and around it that I would love to see them keep going and get themselves into finals footy for their fans and just for the romance of the whole thing. Anyway. Thanks very much everyone, congratulations to Geelong, top performance today from the footy club, and commiserations Port, you've had a great year so far, lift up the chins and I'm sure you'll come again strong in the coming weeks. Thanks very much everyone, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying footy reviews, footy videos, footy chat, because I am not going anywhere. So subscribe, put the bell on, fire a few thumbs up, and comment in the section below about what you want to see or anything involving footy. Just slap in a comment, whether it's what you thought of today's game that I've just reviewed. Throw your comment in there. It'll be good to hear from you and your opinions of who you thought was good, who you thought wasn't so good, etc, etc. You get where I'm going with that. Also, follow us on Insta, Facebook, Twitter. Become a patron. Boom. And also, if you don't want to become a patron and you want to support the channel, just donate! And that fundraiser's called Get Us to Oz, where we'll be raising money for our AFL vlogging trip down under. I have got merchandise. I've actually rolled out through Teesprings, which is the merchandise manufacturer for YouTube. The partnership going there. I've rolled out a face mask with the Don Channel logo, of course the Gladiator. Gladiator, what does it mean? Gladiator Sports, AFL, NHL, NFL, the big hitting, all full-blooded, wholehearted sports that I've just mentioned there. Gladiator Sports with the TDC logo in it, on a face mask. Get yours now. Thanks very much. Look guys, thanks for watching the video. If you're new to the channel, as I said, don't forget to subscribe and share our videos with your friends and family. See you all soon, troops. Goodbye.